Alright, so as far as organics goes, even if you get the proportions and everything perfect, if the hair isn't good, the end result probably won't turn out that well. But not to worry, I'll be showing you how to make some sweet looking hair so you won't have to or ever mess up your amazing organic ever again. I don't know. Alright, let's get into it. So first off, you're probably going to want to turn off shaders so you can actually fucking see what you're building. Okay, so before we actually start building, I'm going to be showing you the tools I'm going to be using today. So, regular world edit, the, what's it called, couple of sphere brushes, the spline brush if you don't have the loft tool if you do have the loft tool, and couple of these blocks to mark out the hair, and then go paint. So, now, let's get started. Now, before you start actually placing any hair, I'm just going to go over the entire face or head of this dude and mark out exactly where the hairline is going to be. So here, 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 and you can just look at like reference images or whatever to get the hair correctly. And I'm just going to be going over in marking out the entire hairline and then replacing the hair with diamond. Now, I'll be back in a second once that's done. Alrighty, I know I didn't explain that very well on how to do this step, but there's really not much I can show you here. This, whatever reference you're looking at, or if you're looking at your own hair, the hairline is going to be different no matter what, but all I did was take a diamond block and mark out exactly wherever my hair is going to be. And again, I didn't overlay any of this. Like, I mean, I didn't go like this and replace it above the terracotta. All I did was replace the actual terracotta with my diamond block here to mark it out. Now, once you're at this step, we can finally get started on actually placing down some hair. So let's get it. Now for this, if you are using the loft tool, you don't have to mark this out, but I'm going to anyway because I find it a little bit easier and you have a little more control of the shape your hair is going to make. But on one side, the right or left, doesn't really matter. I'm going to start out by finding the exact spot where my hairline starts. So for me, it's going to be right here. And then I'm just going to go along and place, and just with some gold blocks, the outline of where my hair is going to be. So I want my hair to start here, and it's going to go up. Yeah, it's going to go swoop up and then come back down, just tucked behind the ear. And then, once I get here, maybe it's going to wrap around again, like this, just over the shoulder. Just like that. And as far as the hair shape, again, just look at references, because all the hairs you make is going to be different, but I'm just showing you how I'd make this particular one like this. And by the way, I do know that my keyboard is really loud, but I actually really like the sound of it because it's I don't know, like an ASMR or whatever. But let me know if you want me to actually turn that shit off. Maybe like this. There we go. Now we got our kind of hair shape. Alright, now that I got my very first or outline of the hair done, I'm going to make one more of these, but it's going to be a little bit higher up on the head. So maybe about like 2 to 3 blocks up, place a second block, and literally you're just going to outline what you just made. So just like this, go along here, the edge, maybe that won't work, like that, here, here, and as you can see, we're going to fill in the space between these two lines, and it's going to kind of start to make the shape that your hair is going to be. So second line maybe going here, come back this way a little bit, there we go, just like that. Now we got our 2 lines set up. Now all we got to do is connect them together. Now first I'll show you how to do it with the loft tool, but if you don't have the loft tool, I'll show you how to do it with the spline brush in a second. But to start with the loft tool, just left click on your very first point and then right click on all your other points, and only for your first line that you made. So just like this, here, here, and here. Now we got our first line done. Do the exact same thing, just with up top. So again, left click, right click, right click. Here, 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 oh shit, here, and here. Now we got our loft set. Now type in // loft, or loft space set space 41 for the block. And actually, before you do that, type in // gmask 0, so you only affect air blocks, but // loft set 41. And then it's just going to fill in the little hair shape you just made. Now let's say you don't have the loft tool. Let me show you briefly how to do the exact same thing, but with the spline brush. So get out your wooden axe and type in // cell convex. Now what that command is going to do is allow you to select more than just 2 points. So with normal world edit, you select position 1, position 2, but with this one you can select from position 1 all the way up to, like, I don't know, 4,000, I guess. But again, type in // cell convex and then left click on your first point, and then just like the loft tool, right click, right click, right click, all the way on all of your other points for your first strand. Now that we got all of our points selected, type in // curve space 41 and hit enter, and that's just going to connect all those little golden points you just made. Now real quickly, let's go do that on the next side, and we're done. Now that you got both of your lines connected, going to get out a brush of your choice. I'm just going to use an iron shovel for this example, but either you can go to the top or the bottom, but type in // br for brush spline space 41 for the block, and then for size I'll do like 70. Hit enter, and don't forget to when you use the curve command or cell convex, to undo it, to again only select 2 points, type in // cub, and then that's going to go back to your original 2-point selections. Now once you've done that and you've got your spline brush out, left click on the end of one of the points and then double right click on the end of the other one, and then that, just like the loft tool, is just going to connect those little things you just made. Oh, and as you can see, it didn't do the full thing, so that means the size wasn't big enough. So undo this, type in // br, oh shit, spline 41 for the block, and then this time we'll do 80. Again, left click and then double right click. Now it should be totally filled in. Alright, we got it, cool. Okay, so I forgot to mention, before we actually make this little hair strand here thicker, go ahead and do the exact same thing you just did on one side to the other side. Alrighty, now that we've got both of our little hair outlines done, now to start making it thicker and making it start look more like a realistic hair. So, I'm going to be using 2 sphere brushes with a mask on it to basically just outline the edges of this hair. So, type in, when you're hovering over your diamond brush, // br space s space 57, and I'll do a size of 3. So normally, and don't forget to undo gmask, normally when I left click with the regular sphere brush, all it does is plop a diamond sphere or whatever block, just makes a random sphere like this. But what we want it to do is outline or overlay this gold right here. So hover over your diamond brush, type in // mask tilde bracket 41 bracket and bracket 0. Now what this is going to do is only place diamond block next to air and gold block. So now as you can see, when I right click, it's just going to outline this gold and make it thicker. See what I mean? Just like this, and then you can go all the way to the edge. And then do that on both sides. Now you can see it's already starting to come together. But the thing is, some areas might not be like as thick as you want them, or you just want them a little bit denser. So we're going to do the exact same thing, but instead this time with a gold brush. Now type in //BRS41, and we'll do a smaller size. We'll do size 2. Hit enter. Now this time, instead of masking gold, we're going to mask diamond. So again, that first command, do the exact same thing, but change 41 with 57, which is the ID for diamond. Hit enter, and now this area right here, if you want to make it thicker, we can go over one more time and outline this again. Maybe there. Now you can keep doing that until you get the thickness you want. I'm just going to keep it, I'm only going to do 2 little, I don't even know what you call it. Only have it like this thick. Alright, now that we've got that done, actually let me fix this here. And maybe... And honestly, how this is going to look, it's going to take a lot of time. Like, this is a very kind of, I mean, not super advanced, but it's not very easy to learn. And it'd probably make it look a lot easier than it actually is, because I've tried this tons and tons of different times, so I've finally figured out how to actually do it correctly. But now that we've got it the thickness that we want it, it's still not even like... There we go. Yeah, whatever, that's fine for now. Maybe even more here. Sweet. Now that we've got used our little overlay brushes to mask out the edges of the hair, now we're going to use voxel to start actually lifting the hair up. But real quick, before we use voxel, use both of your brushes to connect here what you just made. So this isn't all open and everything. So I'm just going to use both these brushes to cover this up. And don't worry about how it looks right here. We'll fix it once we go over it with the voxel. Now, before we actually start using voxel, you want to replace all the gold blocks and or all the diamond blocks if you want to the same block. So I'm going to replace all the gold with diamond. So go to one corner, position 1, other corner, position 2, and then / replace 41 with 57. And then your hair is actually starting to really come together, and as you can see, it's all one block now. It's a lot easier to see what you're doing. But now let's get into it with voxel. Alright, so the voxel commands I'll be using is /BEB lift, and that's about it. So get out your what is it, arrow and gunpowder, and type in /BEB lift, hit enter, and then for the size, /B, I'm going to be using a size of 3. So now if you look at your hair, or yours might probably be different, but for me anyway, there's the only area that it looks nice so far is just kind of in the front. Now what we want to do is make this back area look a lot more full and a lot more flowy like. I don't even know what term to use for that, but I'm just going to take voxel and make almost like little shapes in the hair. So I'll kind of go like this, make this area thicker, put an indent here. And this is going to come with practice because I've done this a lot of, I've done this many times So it does probably look a lot easier with me doing it. But I'm just going to go over the entire head and make little indents and make little areas fuller. Make just tons of different shapes. Or not really just tons of different shapes, but kind of like this. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm just going to go over and smoothen the entire thing by hand. Now, you can use a blend ball or whatever the hell you want to use to smoothen this, but you get a lot nicer look if you smoothen it by hand. It looks a lot better. But once I'm done smoothing everything by hand, and how I'm going to smoothen this by hand, you don't have to make it perfect, because again, it's hair. It's not like, it's hair, it's not a body part. I mean, it kind of is, but you know what I mean. Like an arm can only really like be shaped so many ways, but hair can kind of just be whatever, just depending on the atmosphere. But so you don't need to make it perfect, but just kind of fill up any holes and fix any corners, kind of just like how I'm doing here. Like areas like this. Fix it up. Maybe here as well. There we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do this for the rest of the hair. Okay, so now that we got everything smoothened out by hand, now all there is left to do is paint it. So I'm gonna be using Go Paint, and I'll briefly go over how to use it. So Go Paint uses a feather, so grab out a feather and all of the blocks you want to use. So I'm going to be using all of these blocks: brown terracotta, brown concrete, brown wool, concrete powder, and the block to replace it with, which is diamond. Now to open Go Paint, just left click while you're hovering over the feather, and it'll open up this little menu here. Now, this feather, so this will be disabled. Right click to enable it, and then for the brush I'm going to use, I'm not going to go over all of these, but I'll just be using the splatter brush. Right and left click to scroll through your different brushes. Fall off strength I'll use 100, and then size I'll do 15. Mask enabled. Keep all this stuff here. Now to start it, I'm going to place diamond block here and then black terracotta here. Now when I exit out of Go Paint, when you right click when you're hovering over diamond, it's going to replace it with your black terracotta. Now to start this, I'm just going to click up here, just in the front. And now that we've got, let me slow down here. Now that we've got our black terracotta placed, now I'll move on to my next block, which is gray terracotta. Then brown terracotta. And we are done. And as far as the hair for the tail goes, I pretty much made the exact same way. I just used voxel to build it out and then used Go Paint to paint it. And all there is left to do is, actually, one thing I always do when I'm making hair, I add in the ears after the hair is already there. So I'm not working around the ears with the hair. So slow down to whatever speed, and then I'm just gonna add in like some kind of ear shapes like this. I don't even really know how to do ears, just something like this. That looks horrible. That's fine for now. Maybe break that. There we go. Now, the last thing you should do once you've got your hair done is some sweet cinematic shots.